Prepare to sortie, pilots. The Pandora's Nebula is calling in Wartech Fighters from developer Drakkar Dev. In this mech-based, anime-inspired arcade space shooter, you'll have to customize and outfit your Wartech to take out hostiles you encounter on your missions. Choice is the name of the game here, as you have a staggering amount of choice when it comes to how you want to load out your machine or develop your Wartech. Wartech Fighters does a good job in not drowning new players with stat sheets that would make Microsoft Excel freeze, introducing choices as players go as opposed to having every option available from the start. Combat in space is fluid and tense. You'll cruise through space, burning your boosters, dodging incoming missiles while counterattacking and unleashing your own firepower. If you prefer to get in close, you'll be treated to dynamic scenes of destruction that have been faithfully recreated from numerous existing mecha animes of the past. When you aren't upgrading your mech or taking on the game's missions, you can treat yourself to the game's challenges and survival modes to earn yourself some additional credits to spend on upgrades. The only glaring omission from this game is the lack of any multiplayer component, which is a true crying shame. This game is just begging for the ability to team up with friends and take on missions, or test your mettle against each other and see which Wartech fighter comes out on top. Wartech Fighters is a great introduction to the genre, and could serve well as a stepping stone into the more serious mecha action games. The once great dwarven city of Icesnare lays paralyzed by a fiendish curse that was cast upon it by the Shade King, freezing the townsfolk and turning them into wraiths that seek only to kill those still among the living. In Vambrace, Cold Soul, you play as Lyric, equipped with a mighty enchanted Vambrace with powerful magics that allow you to pass through the frost wall that bars any from leaving or entering Icesnare. What follows is a perilous journey to save the people of the city. Adopting a similar style to 2016's hit gothic roguelike Darkest Dungeon, Vambrace injects a heavier dose of narrative into its design, while still retaining the tense resource management and high difficulty of its cousin. With engaging turn-based combat that promotes deep strategy, you and your hired team will explore and try and bring about the end of the Shade King. You'll have to scavenge resources as you go in order to craft items and better gear that will allow you to progress further. The bleak and barren frozen landscapes you venture through are beautifully drawn and a pleasure to see. Character portraits are equally detailed and expertly drawn, many of them leaning towards the sultry and sexy side. The art, paired with the intricate lore that's spread throughout the story and found within the scattered remains of the Codex, breathe life into this cursed land and connect you to the world. This connection will be important, as this game's difficult. Very difficult.
Because it is my guilt, I claim you, grievous miracle. Make my chest hurt with regret. Forge your punishment and nail it deep. Shape my guilt once again.
Images of a maiden crushing her chest and stabbing herself in repentance greet you when you start up Blasphemous, the latest of the Metroidvania 2D action platformers to hit the market. Set in Orthodoxia, a dark, nightmare world where demons and gods exist and religion reigns, you are the penitent one, the lone survivor of the Silent Sorrow Massacre. You'll have to run, jump, climb, and fight your way to the truth. The mixture of religious iconography and intense scenes of violence left me with an uncomfortable unease, but the astounding attention to detail and execution of this pixel sprite work done is hard to deny and made them sights to behold. I was never offended by what I saw, instead finding myself often reflecting on the imagery I bore witness to long after I shut down the game. Fans of titles such as Bloodstained, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, or Metroid will find many of the same familiar tropes here, as you will be exploring a large interconnected world, gaining access to new areas by gaining new abilities during the course of your adventure. Difficulty, resources, and how lore is handled is done much more akin to a Soulsborne style of title. Each object you collect will expand the history of the story of the world, pulling you deeper. Deaths will result in you leaving behind guilt, which will lower the maximum amount of magic you have available for your special attack. Prospective players with a lower tolerance for gore and are sensitive to some imagery You may find Blasphemous hard to contend with, but the game's absolutely worth the experience. The attention to detail in the artwork, the satisfying gameplay and controls, and the rich new world to explore make this an easy recommendation for fans of the genre.